Imagine being deep in the wilderness, miles away from civilization, when you suddenly lock eyes with one of nature's most powerful predators, a massive grizzly bear. Your heart pounds, your breath catches, and every instinct screams at you to run. But you know, one wrong move could mean the end. Today's story is about a man who faced that exact nightmare and lived to tell the tale. This isn't fiction. It's a true survival story that shows what happens when courage, instinct, and a bit of luck come together in the face of certain death. Our story begins in the remote backcountry of Alaska. The air is crisp, the forest thick with pine and damp earth, and the only sounds are the whispering wind and the distant rush of a river. Daniel, an experienced hiker and wildlife photographer, had been trekking for hours, hoping to capture shots of eagles and mountain landscapes. But as the sun began to dip below the horizon, he realized he had wandered too far from camp. He adjusted his backpack, planning to circle back before nightfall. Then, a sudden crack echoed through the trees. He froze. His eyes darted toward the noise, scanning the dense brush. That's when he saw it, a towering grizzly bear, standing on its hind legs, sniffing the air. The distance between them? Barely 30 feet. Daniel's blood ran cold. He knew the rules. Don't run, don't make eye contact, stay calm. But theory doesn't prepare you for the real thing. The bear dropped to all fours and started moving toward him, slow at first, deliberate, testing. Daniel's hands trembled as he reached for the small can of bear spray on his belt. The bear's growl rolled through the forest, deep and primal. Every step it took cracked branches beneath its massive paws. Daniel slowly raised his arms to look bigger, speaking softly. Easy, easy. His voice shook, but he kept talking, trying to show he wasn't a threat. Then, the bear charged. Daniel barely had a second to react. He aimed the bear spray and fired. A bright orange mist filled the air, hitting the bear square in the face. The creature roared, clawing at its snout, blinded and enraged. Daniel's survival instincts took over. He backed away slowly, then turned and bolted downhill, weaving through trees as the echoes of the bear's fury filled the valley. He didn't stop running until his legs gave out. He collapsed beside a fallen log, gasping for air, his heart hammering in his chest. For a few moments, all he could hear was his own breathing and the rustle of leaves. Then, silence. The bear hadn't followed. As the adrenaline began to fade, pain set in. During his sprint, he had tripped over roots and scraped his arm badly, leaving a deep gash. He tore a piece of his shirt to bandage it, trying to steady his shaking hands. Night was falling, and he still had several miles to his campsite. Daniel gathered his courage and started walking again, moving carefully through the darkening forest. Every shadow seemed alive, every sound a threat. He knew that grizzlies often circle back or stalk silently, waiting. Each step was a gamble. Hours later, he spotted the faint glow of his campfire in the distance. Relief washed over him, but it didn't last long. As he got closer, he noticed movement near his supplies. His food bag, which he had hung from a tree, was gone, torn apart. The bear had found his camp before he did. Daniel's mind raced. If the bear was still nearby, any noise or movement could draw it back. He quietly grabbed his emergency flare gun and climbed onto a large rock formation to get a better view. From there, under the pale moonlight, he could see it, the same grizzly, rummaging through what was left of his supplies. He knew he couldn't outrun it again. He had to scare it away for good. Taking a deep breath, Daniel fired the flare into the night sky. A burst of red light exploded overhead, casting eerie shadows across the forest. The bear flinched, looked up, and let out a deep growl, but the firelight confused and frightened it. After a tense few seconds, it turned and lumbered away into the trees. Daniel waited, barely breathing, until the forest was silent again. He stayed awake all night, gripping the flare gun, listening to every crack and whisper in the darkness. When the first light of dawn finally broke through the trees, he packed what little remained of his gear and started his long hike back to civilization. Hours later, he reached a ranger station, exhausted, injured, but alive. The rangers were stunned. Encounters like his rarely ended well. When they returned with him to recover his equipment, they found massive claw marks on the trees around his camp, a reminder of how close he came to becoming another wilderness tragedy. In the days that followed, Daniel's story spread among hikers and outdoor forums, not because of luck, but because of how he handled the situation. He followed the survival rules to the letter. He didn't panic, didn't run immediately, and used his tools effectively. The experience changed him forever. In interviews later, Daniel said something that stuck with everyone who heard his story. You never really know what fear is until you see it staring back at you through a bear's eyes. But you also learn what it means to fight for every breath. This story isn't just about surviving a bear attack. It's about human instinct, the will to live when everything seems hopeless. It reminds us that no matter how powerful nature can be, courage and calm thinking can make the difference between life and death. If you want to hear more incredible true survival stories like this one, click the next video on your screen. Thanks for watching. See you next video.